जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवर धारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। यमुनतीरा वनचारि। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस शिष्य भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. All right, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 25th, verse number 28. Nakarhi chinmad parashanta rupe nangshanti no me nimisho ledi heti yesham aham priya atma sutascha sakha guru suhrido daivam ishtam nakarhi chinmad parashanta rupe Nanshanti no me nimisho lediheti yesham aham priya atma sutascha sakha guru suhrido daivam ishtam nakarhi chinmad parashanta rupe nanshanti no me nimisho lediheti yesham aham priya atma sutascha Sakha Guru Suhrido Daivamishtam. Synonyms: Na, not, Karhichit, ever, Mat Paraha, my devotees, Shantarupe, O mother, Nangshanti, will lose, no, not, may, my, Animisha, time, Ledhi, destroys, Heti, weapon, Yesham, of whom, Aham, I, Priya, dear, Atma, self, Sutta, son, Cha, and Sakha, friend, Guru, preceptor, Surida, benefactor, Daivam, deity, Ishtam, chosen. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord continued, my dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences, because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity. They cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time. Purport: it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one may elevate himself to the higher planetary systems even up to Brahmaloka by dint of pious activities. But when the effects of such pious activities are finished, one again comes back to this earth to begin a new life of activities. Thus, even though one is promoted to higher planetary system for enjoyment and a long duration of life, still that is not a permanent settlement. But as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service, and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. In this verse, Kapila Dev addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa, indicating that the opulences of devotees are fixed because devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shanta Rupa because it is in the mode of pure goodness, undisturbed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Once one is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, his position of transcendental service cannot be destroyed, and the pleasure and service simply increase unlimitedly. For devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness, in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time. In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything, but in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence or time or of the demigods because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Here, our activities are controlled by different demigods. Even if we move our hand and leg, the action is controlled by the demigods. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of the demigods or of time. Therefore, there is no question of destruction. When the time element is present, there is the certainty of destruction. But when there is no time element, past, present, or future, then everything is eternal. Therefore, this word uses the words na nangshanti, indicating that the transcendental opulence will never be destroyed. The reason for freedom from destruction is also described. The devotees accept the Supreme Lord as the most dear personality and reciprocate with him in different relationships. They accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the dearmost friend, the dearmost relative, the dearmost son, the dearmost preceptor, the dearmost well wisher, or the dearmost deity. The Lord is eternal, therefore, any relationship in which we accept Him is also eternal. It is clearly confirmed herein that the relationships cannot be destroyed, and therefore the opulences of those relationships are never destroyed. Every living entity has the propensity to love someone. We can see that if someone has no object of love, he generally directs his love to a pet animal like a cat or a dog. Thus, the eternal propensity for love in all living entities is always searching for a place to reside. From this verse, we can learn that we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead as our dearmost object, as a friend, as a son, as a preceptor, or as a well wisher. And there will be no cheating and no end to such love. We shall eternally enjoy the relationship with the Supreme Lord in different aspects. A special feature of this verse is the acceptance of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Perceptor. A special feature of this verse is the acceptance of the Supreme Lord as a Supreme Perceptor. Bhagavad Gita was spoken directly by the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna accepted Krishna as Guru or spiritual master. Similarly, we should accept only Krishna as the supreme spiritual master. Krishna, of course, means Krishna and his confidential devotees. Krishna is not alone. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna means Krishna in his name, in his form, in his qualities, in his abode, and in his associates. Krishna is never alone, for the devotees of Krishna are not impersonalists. For example, a king is always associated with his secretary, his commander, his servant, and so much paraphernalia. As soon as we accept Krishna and his associates as our perceptors, no ill effects can destroy our knowledge. In the material world, the knowledge which we acquire may change because of the influence of time, but nevertheless, the conclusions received from Bhagavad Gita directly from the speeches of the Supreme Lord Krishna can never change. There is no use interpreting Bhagavad Gita, it is eternal. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, should be accepted as one's best friend. He will never cheat. He will always give his friendly advice and friendly protection to the devotee. If Krishna is accepted as a son, he will never die. Here we have a very loving son or child, but the father, and mother, or those who are affectionate towards him, always hope, may my son not die. But Krishna actually will, but Krishna actually never will die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna or the Supreme Lord as their son will never be bereft of their son. In many instances, devotees have accepted the deity as a son. In Bengal, there are many such instances, and even after the death of the devotee, the deity performs the Shraddh ceremony for the father. The relationship is never destroyed. People are accustomed to worship different forms of demigods, but in Bhagavad Gita, such a mentality is condemned. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different forms, such as Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram, and Radha Krishna. Thus, one will never be cheated. By worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets, but during the dissolution of the material world, the deity and the abode of the deity will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no influence of time, destruction, or annihilation. The conclusion is that the time influence cannot act upon devotees who have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. So once again, we will see the translation. The Lord continued, "My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and the supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time." And this is continuation from what are these opulences? This we discussed yesterday. I will read only the translation from yesterday. Thus, because this is Kapila Muni telling to Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, about one who engages in devotional service. Thus, because he is completely absorbed, he is referring to a devotee, he is completely absorbed in thoughts of me. The devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyalok. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does it desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benediction, and devotees who receive such opulences are never bereft of time. Neither weapon nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Okay, so this particular verse is describing how the living entity is eternal and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternal. And like Prabhupada would say, because we are eternal, Krishna is eternal, our relationship is also eternal. And here, as we engage in devotional service, Krishna takes care of our material needs. Krishna takes care of our spiritual needs. We were discussing the other day when Krishna says, Yoga Shema Vahami Aham, I carry what a devotee lacks and I preserve what he has. So there, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary that Krishna always takes care completely of his devotees. Then in the 6th chapter, there is a question by Arjuna about an unsuccessful yogi, and Arjuna asks Krishna, isn't those who are practicing or who are like practicing Krishna consciousness, they cannot enjoy material happiness, and if they are not very advanced, then they cannot enjoy spiritual happiness also. So aren't they neither here nor there? Neither are they materially satisfied nor are they spiritually satisfied, like a driven cloud who has no existence. So Krishna says, my devotee will be um, like happy in this world and in the next. And then Krishna says, one who does good is never destroyed by the evil. Prabhupada also says a pure devotee naturally develops all um, like even opulences or um, mystic powers, um, whatever, um, like he gets all of them, but naturally he's not attracted to them. He's attracted to devotional service only. Also, the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, where um, Sanjaya says that wherever there is Arjun, wherever there is Krishna, there will be victory, there will be opulence, there will be all these things. Another thing that is described here is so there are many things that can be described. Naturally, a devotee does not want them. The only thing that a devotee wants is freedom from um, a material consciousness and complete absorption in Krishna. A devotee wants to, like those who are pure devotees, they are fully absorbed in Krishna. Those who are practicing devotees, they want to get rid of all the things that are coming on our way in practicing our Krishna consciousness. Like today, I was listening to a lecture by my spiritual master, and the devotee asked these questions to Maharaj. They asked Maharaj, what is friendship and what is forgiveness? Can you say something about friendship and something about forgiveness? So Maharaj, very short answer, he says friendship means paradukha dukhi. Um, Friendship means you are always the well-wisher of the other person, no matter how they act, how they behave, what they say. You are always thinking about what is good for the other person. Like we have a little small Krishna house and we have some residents. So one time Kalakanta Prabhu was mentioning, he says many times you may not be able to understand what to do in what situation, how to act, how not to act, what decision to make. Whenever there is any question about what to do, always think about what will be good for the other person. And if you always think about what is good for the other person, you will always make the right decision. Most of the time, the wrong decisions are made because of our own like obstruction caused by our own anarthas, our own false ego, our own whatever the anarthas are. They make us like they come in between us and Krishna. But if we are always thinking about what is good for the other person, our decisions will be right. Something I like recently from Chandrasekhar Maharaj when he visited, he gave a Bhagavatam class. And I think our dear Sham Kishore Prabhu, he asked this question about how can we receive the mercy of spiritual master. And Maharaj mentioned you receive the instruction of spiritual master by following the instruction of spiritual master. And then he said, the most important instruction among all instruction is that you all, in whatever capacity you are in, try to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order also. Bharat Bhumi te hoite janma jar, janma sata kari karo paropkar. If you have taken birth in Bharat Varsh, then um, um, use your life for self-realization, realize Krishna, and then um, assist in whichever capacity we can, all living entities in developing their own Krishna consciousness. So Mara said, among all instruction, this is the most important instruction is in your own capacity, spread Krishna consciousness, which includes our family members, our children, our relatives, our parents, our friends, and unknown people, like wherever. Mahaprabhu also gave this instruction to this leper in South India, Jare Dekha Tare Ka Krishna Upadesh, wherever you see, you speak about Krishna. Then we see the instruction of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, I'm not interested in my own liberation, rather, um, as I want to come back as long as there are those who are envious of you or those who are rebellious of you. As long as there are such souls on the planet, I want to keep coming back and I want to keep assisting them in their journey, in the relationship with you. So then Chandrasekhar Maharaj also mentioned those who are engaged in outreach activities. They know this life is very troublesome. Many times I feel like, the life is very troublesome. And there are many impediments in order to spread the message. But then Mara said, but those impediments are very helpful to realize that we are not these bodies. So he said the benediction of facing those impediments that come in our way to outreach is we gradually come to realize we are not these bodies. Also, Lord Krishna says, those who are engaged in spreading my message is very dear to me. This is what Mahaprabhu wants. This is what was Prabhupada's desire for all the devotees. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted. This is what we see all the devotees are aspiring for. All our acharyas have taught by their own example how Bhaktivinoda Thakur would send books out of India to reach out to all phases of people in their Krishna consciousness. How Saraswati Thakur would extensively take the role of a Simha Guru to fight with all the obstructions. So obstructions are common. Prabhupada also says if you're not facing obstruction in your spreading of Krishna consciousness or in your spiritual life, then that means Maya is not taking you seriously. Obstructions will be there. Obstructions were there even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was trying to spread the holy name. There was Chand Kazi and there were others who were trying to obstruct. Obstructions will always be there. And Prabhupada says that's a sign that that you are doing the right thing. There were so many obstructions for Srila Prabhupada to spread the message of Krishna. Like we see Juhu story, and we see there were like conspiracies to kill Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, no, I will go for Rath Yatra, whatever happens. There were obstructions from the government. There were obstructions from the parents. There were so many obstructions every single day for Srila Prabhupada. And there are so many impediments because the devotees would not go along together. And like Saraswati Thakur faced so many obstructions within the mission, outside of the mission. Anybody who is seriously try to engage in spreading the message, they will see obstructions are the most common thing. But then Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says the obstruction or the difficulties that I face in my service to you is my greatest pleasure. And my spiritual master also says like when we go through hard time, it actually that is what is necessary for us to be purified, and better to go through hard time in the service of the Lord. Like he gives an example of gold. It is burnt and burnt and it is burnt, and when it is burnt, then all the impurities leave the gold and pure gold comes out. Likewise, whatever impediments that come in our life is also part of our purification, and every impediment comes is actually this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Tathendukampam Sumikshamana, which is a prayer by Brahma, where he says, whatever impediment comes, I accept it as my own karma, and With my heart, body, and mind, I offer obeisances to you. For those who practice this principle, for them liberation is their birthright. And in the purport, Prabhupada says the obstruction comes in order to curb our enjoying mentality. The problem is there is a lot of mentality to enjoy, and there are a lot of anarthas within the heart. And Krishna brings us impediment just to humble us down, so that it's very very difficult to be grounded, in Krishna consciousness, because little things and we'll start flying. Or if you don't fly, at least we desire to fly. It's like these voices, um, the false ego. It's like there are so many demands. Today I was hearing audio of Chaitanya Charitamrita reading from Madhya Lila first chapter. It was about the pastime of the first meeting of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu gave his full mercy, the beautiful like humility of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and they were glorifying how greatly fortunate Jagai and Madhai. Because they were saying, Prabhupada mentioned the purport, they were considering Jagai and Madhai are more advanced than them, because they were thinking that they did not work for a Muslim king. And they were thinking, yes, they were engaged in sinful activity, but one holy name can eradicate all sinful activity. They were drinking, they were having whatever, they would break four regulative principles, but otherwise, they are Brahmanas, they did not work for any Muslim. And even though jokingly they would chant the holy name to mock with devotees, still they would get purified. So they are great. But we are working for meat eaters, and therefore we have become one among them. So they were expressing their humbleness. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, "Please stand up. Your humility is breaking my heart." Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his full mercy, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees to give their mercy to Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. And all the devotees, when they saw how Rupa and Sanatan received the full mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were greatly blissful, greatly happy. And there in the purport, Prabhupada writes, quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that those who are Vaishnavas and those who envy the success of other Vaishnavas, they should not be considered Vaishnavas. I'm like, wow, that is very nice. And then Prabhupada quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he says they are actually the disciples of Kali. I was thinking, oh, this is heavy. So um, Prabhupada uses the word, quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kali Chela. They are Chela of Kali. And Prabhupada was very heavy on this verses. And he was mentioning that when Narottam Das Thakur says, there is this famous verse that Sanahei was, what is that? Tandera. Like always, one should always remain in the association of devotees. And Prabhupada says, yes, one should never leave the association of devotees, and devotee means no envy. And it's like, and coming back to this lecture that I was hearing from my spiritual master today morning, Maharaj was mentioning about friendship means you're always thinking about the good of the other person. Um, and then the question was asked, Maharaj, tell us something about forgiveness. Then Maharaj said, love means everlasting forgiveness. He says, when you love somebody, when you truly love somebody, then you are always forgiving them. Everlasting forgiveness. So our main obstruction in our progress in our Krishna consciousness is our own subtle body, our own mind, our own intelligence, our own ahankar. These are the one who are greatest obstacles. And that's why our different spiritual master, they don't talk about different topics like pastimes of Radha and Krishna, but they mainly focus on what will help us today to grow. Because to the extent our heart becomes purified, the pastimes of the Lord, the absorption in the Lord will naturally awaken. It is not something that can be gained by an external source. Of course, hearing is very important. We are paving the way in that direction, yet at the same time, it is something that descends. Um, Here, like how far is where we have to go? How far is love for Krishna? How far is attachment to Krishna? And the consciousness with which we are living today, and how far is that love? Today morning I was in the same chapter, Madhya Lila, first chapter. um, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is describing the whole summary of Madhya Lila and Antya Lila, because he says, I don't know how much time I have. I don't know if I'll be able to complete the whole Madhya Lila and Antya Lila. So let me summarize so devotees have something to cling to. And that's why he gives the whole summary of both the uh, Madhya Lila, Antya Lila. There he was mentioning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after his South Indian tour, when he came back, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so attached to Lord Jagannath. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu observed the Snan Yatra, after which Lord Jagannath becomes sick. After he became sick, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would, when he went and he saw Jagannath is not there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started feeling so much um, uh, pain that arose from separation from Lord Jagannath. His attachment, I mean, we cannot understand what is this attachment. I mean, it is not visible anywhere in this material world. Even um, if we really love somebody, and if we cannot see them for a moment or two, I mean, nothing happens. It's okay. And we will see them, we may feel little separation from those we love in this world. But what is this attraction that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting to Jagannath, that he became um, um, like his body started burning? And then, in order to mitigate, Madhya Lila explains, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains, in order to mitigate the pain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing from separation from Jagannath, he started running like a madman. And he wanted to see the form of a Lord. So he started running, 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 running. And he reached, his body was getting so much heat out of separation from the Lord. He was running and he went to Alaranath, which is 14 miles away. 14 miles is like, it takes like half an hour to drive there. So Mahaprabhu started running when he saw the four-handed form of Krishna in Alaranath, which is also Brahmagiri, where Brahmaji performed tapasya to invite Jagannath. That's why that place is also called Brahmagiri. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the form of the Lord, he bowed down. I mean, he fell flat. He paid Shashtang Dandavat pranams, and the stone on which he fell, that melted. So this is explained the separation that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling, and I was just thinking, what is this? What is this kind of love? Like, with our material mind, we cannot understand. Um, we cannot understand when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shikshakashtakam Yugaitam Nimeshena, one moment is like a yoga. What is this love? And where do we stand? Um, like um, our eternal occupation is little things. We feel very good about ourselves. We try to show off ourselves. We become proud very easily at little success. Um, Mind is always absorbed in like finding fault in devotees. Um, So much desire for sense enjoyment, so much lust in the heart. What is this consciousness, and where is this consciousness where one is completely absorbed? Where what is Mahaprabhu came to show by his own example on love for Krishna. Where is that love, and where do we stand? Um, but at the same time, um, um, Dharudhar Maharaj he says, in one life, we can, like Yugal Prabhupada was quoting, we can go from point A to point B. The more time we spend in Krishna consciousness, the more we realize where to go, where I stand, and how will uh, these steps be covered. Um, but Chaitanya Charitamrita is very sweet. We see Srila Prabhupada also when he was coming to US, when he was on his boat, Prabhupada says, I am taking shelter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The pastime Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very attractive. Mm. And Mahaprabhu will also, by his own mercy, will take us forward. Hearing about Krishna helps to rectify our consciousness at each step. Prabhupada says the mind can be controlled by a superior authority. The superior authority is those who have pure consciousness. Their words are very attractive. The words of scriptures, the words of Guru, they are very pacifying, very soothing, very attractive because immediately rectify our consciousness. When our mind is disturbed, we cannot rectify our consciousness because like there is this quote by Einstein that we cannot find a solution to a problem that is created by our consciousness. We need a higher consciousness to find a solution. And that's where the words of Guru comes. Immediately the mind gets a positive spiritual perspective to everything. That's how guidance comes. Okay, are there any discussion? Are there any questions? Any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Really, really grateful for wonderful points. We actually shared many, many points. Um, Personally, I like 2 points which touched my heart. One, you talked about the the problems can come in our life when we have a tendency to enjoy, and
Yeah,
you can
Prabhuji,
get.
yeah, and Devati Prabhu, can you say again? Actually, somehow I was on mute. I didn't hear any.
No, I'm saying thank you so much for the wonderful class and wonderful points you shared. 2 points which are for me to introspect. One point which you shared in the middle of the class, talking about um difficulty are a kind of a stepping stone to go closer to Krishna. But you shared another aspect of it. Difficulties come when we have a tendency to enjoy, and Krishna has to something come and shake us away from that out of his causeless mercy. The second point which you talked towards the end is we need a higher consciousness to actually get out of our, at least I think about myself, from material consciousness. So hearing about Krishna is very important. But most importantly, you said that is how we get guidance. That is a wonderful point, Prabhu. Not there, but that's something which I can meditate on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for sharing your reflection. I recently, I mean, this is something personal I would like to share still because it was humbling for me. Um, um, like we were at an event in this weekend, and it was a kind of holistic and psychic event. We took a booth, so we had a lot of Prabhupada books on display. So we were giving Prabhupada books. Whoever was coming, we were talking to people, and many people were showing interest. Then Like, like I was thinking, such a degraded consciousness I had. I mean, everybody who was coming were kind of, some were taking beats. We were showing people how to chant. We were recommending you chant for 3 months. We were giving small beats, 27 beats. We're telling them this is the mantra, this is the meditation we do. This will help you grow spiritually, and you will get all the benefits, bona fide meditation for this age. And we were giving them some books. So after some people took and took and took, then I was thinking, wow, so much mercy today. And then I was thinking, oh Krishna, my consciousness is getting degraded. Why I'm thinking in this direction? And then I was feeling in my heart, oh, my conscience is not good. And then I started praying to Krishna, Krishna, please humble me. Um, I don't want this consciousness. I just want to be selflessly engaged in your service. And then after a few minutes, this organizer came. And she's like, like, you cannot give the mantra. You should have told us you are Hare Krishnas before you had a booth in the event. We don't think we will let you again in. Um, she spoke so many things, and I was thinking, wow, Krishna is very kind. The moment we had a desire, Krishna, please humble, and Krishna is like, waiting. Okay, this is something for you, bro. This is very nice for you. And then it took me some time to recover. And I was thinking how everything is so much Krishna's mercy, actually. And then I took half an hour to recover from that, all the words that I heard, and then just chanted 2, 3 rounds, then gained some strength, and then again stood up praying to Krishna, and then again started reciting books. So I was thinking, I was relating this my own personal experience, how important is all the humbling experience Krishna sends. And I was thinking, um, relating this to this verse of the Thendukampam Prabhupada's purport, that how all impediments actually to curb our enjoying spirit. It can come, Krishna can give us those, if whether we like, Krishna is sitting in our heart, and it is said that Krishna can smell, just like somebody near the flower can smell, Krishna can smell the consciousness. Because he's sitting right next, and then he makes all arrangement in our life, just the right medicine for us. And I was relating, as you mentioned, Prabhu, just reflecting on this, um, to curb the enjoying spirit. All the impediments come, and that is Krishna's mercy also. Just thought of sharing.
That is a wonderful point, bro. I just have my shortcoming to share there. It is definitely, it is one step ahead that we don't complain to Krishna, why this is happening to me. But when someone is going through intense suffering, to actually say it is Krishna's mercy, it's so theoretical for me, to be honest.
Well, I think I could think about it because it's like an immediate reaction. I was praying to Krishna, Krishna, humble me, please, so that I don't. Because the thing is, pride destroys everything, Prabhu. We cannot serve. It's like, the mind. I was thinking, this mind is the biggest obstruction in our ability to serve. Whether it is because of the inconvenience that will be caused, I don't want to serve. And when we actually are serving, their mind presents some other kind of obstruction. It's like always there to impede us. And that's why, like, um, Mahaprabhu says that two things will help us overcome the false pride. Like my spiritual master is the greatest enemy among all the six anathas is false pride. And Chaitanya Charitamrita explains Mahaprabhu's instruction when that leper was hugged by Lord Chaitanya, and his body became completely like good looking. Then leper was not happy because he was saying that now I'll become proud. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't worry, do these two things and pride will not touch you. One is always chant the holy name of Krishna, and one is whoever you see talk about Krishna. Jaya Deka Tarika Group Krishna Upadesh, and always chant the holy name of Krishna. Mahaprabhu said, then pride will not touch you. Otherwise, I don't know how much mountain of everything is there. It takes some realization to realize also. It is so deep rooted. All this is all arising from ahankar. All these anarthas arising from ahankar. So where is the why should I expect Krishna to come to me? Why should I expect absorption in Krishna when my consciousness like this? That there is like okay, just take shelter of the holy name. Keep doing what you are doing and be patient. Let purification happen. Okay. Anyone else has anything? Any comment? Any question?
Just one thing, though. Same thing mentioned. Somebody came and can you hear me from me?
Bro, I can hear you, but still
Not
vague.
clear, Prabhu. Can't hear you, Prabhuji.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yes.
Can you hear me, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay. So the one you mentioned, right? Like somebody came and scolded in the book distribution. It's the same thing. The day is going very smooth, and somebody like criticizing and scolding about ISKCON and preaching, and sometimes the blood is boiling, Prabhu, but somehow controlling, but sometimes unable to control and wanted to like scold like anything. So in that case, what should we do?
Yeah, Prabhu, we have to be silent and take shelter of the holy, because these are the voices of ahankar. Like the anger that may come, or the mind may become disturbed, or the ahankar will give various reasons. This lady, other events, nothing happened. Why? These are all voices of ahankar. They all retaliate. It's just we have to see our own self and then take shelter of Krishna. The biggest obstruction in our progress in our Krishna consciousness is I myself. I am stopping myself, basically the subtle body. I am stopping myself to make progress. Now, naturally, if some devotees, if it's a personal criticism, it's ahankar voice. But if some other devotee is criticized, we should speak for them. Or Prabhupada is criticized, we should speak about them. Only if it is personal, then stay quiet.
Okay, okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's all. I request all the devotees to please keep me in your prayers. Thank you all for joining me. I'm not qualified. Dhanapranam Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Syamanand Prabhu ki jai. Thank
Jai.
you so
Koti
much.
Vaishnava.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.